So he did it again. Biden vows the U.S. will not supply weapons for Israel's offensive attack on Hamas-controlled Rafah. Well, sir, you can't do that. They impeached Trump because he withheld congressionally approved aid to Ukraine, or at least he threatened to. And then 4 years later, here we have Biden getting the preferential treatment, mind you, obviously. And not that I'm calling for him to be impeached, because if he was impeached right now, it would probably help the Democrats in an election, because there's a lot of people that really want Biden to be replaced by somebody like Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama or somebody like that, which I don't think Michelle Obama actually has any interest in it, but you just never know, especially if it became such a dire moment and they just come to her and say, Madam Obama, we really just need you to come and save the country for us right now, because Joe Biden just can't do it and nobody else is fit. And then she might just cave to the pressure. But seriously, I do believe that a lot of people on the Democrat side think there are better candidates than Joe Biden and wouldn't mind if he actually stepped aside and let that candidate take over, even this late in the race. So it's not like I would expect Republicans to respond the way the Democrats responded to Donald Trump when he threatened to withhold aid to Ukraine, but I also don't think that the Republicans should. And here, let's just listen to the words out of the old horse's mouth himself.
I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem.
You heard it right there. He's not supplying supplies.
We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks like the Middle East recently. But it's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons and the artillery shells used that have been used.
Artillery shells as well.
Yeah, artillery shells.
And so, you just got to wonder there, when he said artillery shells as well, did he really mean that, or was he just having a Joe Biden moment? But President Joe Biden said Wednesday that I'm not supplying the weapons if Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu moves forward with the attack on the Hamas-controlled city of Rafah in the Gaza Strip. Well, I believe they actually have. I don't know if they have troops on the ground, but I'm pretty sure they were rolling tanks in there yesterday. But if they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah. But if they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem, Biden told CNN's Aaron Burnett in a rare sit-down interview, which only lasted 55 seconds. Actually, I don't know how long it lasted, but, he's Joe Biden. The 81-year-old president's threat followed days of obfuscation by the White House after reports that the administration had halted at least one shipment of powerful precision bombs, which Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin confirmed in testimony to Congress earlier Wednesday. Biden has warned Israel for weeks not to attack the final major bastion of Hamas and repeated the message Monday in a call to the Israeli head of government. More than 1 million displaced Gazans are believed to reside in and around Rafah. And you know what really is unfortunate with this whole scenario, which, of course, it's war. The whole thing is terrible. But something that's insane that I noticed was similar to the war in Afghanistan, the U.S. and NATO war in Afghanistan, and some others that preceded that kind of, maybe we're even a part of it. It just lasted so long. It feels like it just was Desert Storm all the way until Biden prematurely yanked everybody out of Afghanistan a few years back. But it just seems like, there's no leader of the other team that we're fighting. You know what I mean? Like how Russia is fighting Ukraine, it's Putin versus Zelensky, essentially, the two presidents. But when it was the U.S. and the UN, Europe and whatever, against Afghanistan, it was against terror. There was no... bin Laden was kind of the hunted guy for a while, but I'm saying all the names in this video, of course, right? But I'm just saying, it's just weird. And then I see that similarity here where it's Israel versus Hamas, but, who's the president? You get what I'm saying? There's no real face or leader of Hamas that is the guy. You know what I mean? It's just ironically curious to me. It just might be a random observation. I don't know. But Biden told Burnett the arms denied to Israel could expand to artillery shells as well. Civilians have been killed in Gaza as a consequence of those bombs and other ways in which they go after population centers, Biden said. It's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells used. And the sad thing about it is this is war for Israel, so they're going to use whatever means they have if we don't give them bombs. That might end up being less humane or worse. I don't know. That's me completely speculating. And I'm not advocating to give them these things. I'm actually of the position where I believe that America needs to be taking care of themselves. We have a lot of things with our own border and Social Security and infrastructure, bridges that are being ran into by cargo ships and burned up by tanker trucks, and just all kinds of things. And I feel like on the heels of that, like I said, Desert Storm to Afghanistan excursion, that we spent and wasted a lot of money against basically a faceless enemy, a nameless enemy. And I'd rather be using the money that used to be going to that was going to that war back home to fix some of the things that I mentioned. Maybe give some tax breaks to some people to try to get a handle on inflation. There's a lot of things here that we have issues with that I would like to see resolved first before we go giving extra to other countries, right? And I understand that Israel is an ally and the U.S. has an obligation and Congress has approved those funds and everything like that. And I'm more okay with that money going to Israel than I am with any of the money that's gone to Ukraine, especially since that money just seems like it's being completely wasted, stolen, and laundered back into who knows pockets. But he added that I've made it clear to Netanyahu and the war cabinet they're not going to get our support if in fact they do go into these population centers. Biden said he would, however, continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of the Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks like what came out of Iran in the Middle East just the other day when they sent all those drones and stuff like that. They saw it coming from like a half a day away or something. It was kind of weird, but maybe they're just testing. Maybe they just wanted to waste some money with some old equipment. I really don't know. But the president, who was regularly heckled by anti-Israel protesters who have dubbed him Genocide Joe, has for months criticized Israel for allegedly doing too little to avoid killing civilians and aid workers in Gaza. On Tuesday, however, Biden gave a pro-Israel speech at an event commemorating the Holocaust, saying that protesters were forgetting that Hamas started the war by killing about 1,200 Israelis on October 7th, as well as taking some Americans and a bunch of Israelis, amongst others, hostage. And this is just a really difficult situation, in my opinion. You have Israel that has every right to defend themselves, but we know that Hamas digs into the population, into the civilization. They make bases out of hospitals and schools, and they are really hard to fight against. It's not even that they're so strong, it's that you have to be delicate and that you're not going after the wrong people. You're not getting the wrong people. And to that, you have to understand that Hamas steals the aid that we send. They hoard it for themselves. So you have to wonder if any of that aid is actually getting to the people that need it, that deserve it. And it makes you really just wish Donald Trump was the president right now, because during his 4 terms, the world was at peace. For the most part, there was no new wars for the first presidential term in a long time, and he actually seemed to have a good plan of removing our troops from Afghanistan, much better way than what Joe Biden did. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, folks. Be on the lookout for my videos at noon and 4 o'clock Eastern time, and there will be some bonus videos on top of that. And of course, I like to post the short videos of my chickens. I like to call them chicken shorts, as well as I got a nice banana tree that I'm documenting. It's growing bananas right now. It's called an ice cream banana tree, and I'm kind of filming that and documenting that. As a guy that grew up in Kansas City, living down here in Florida now, it's really cool to see these plants that I've never witnessed in my life grow in the way that they are, and I just like to share it. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I do appreciate you guys watching to the end. I will see you guys in the next one.